All right, the post game is live. We didn't do a lot for this week, but my son Summer wanted to talk about something, and I'll let him get it off his chest.
I did. So today we were watching the Winter Classic, and I noticed that they were honoring some former Blackhawks players on the ice. And one of the guys that they honored, to me, just sets off a couple bells, was one Bobby Hull.
Yeah,
Ooh.
that's an interesting guy to be honoring.
We're in like a Me Too movement right now, and the Blackhawks keep trotting out Bobby Hull to like do things when he was admitted alcoholic, beat his wife, not beat it.
He beat it his wife.
And he has a piece too. He wears he's got a rug too. Like he's not in his real hair.
Well, I mean, having a rug.
That
is fine.
other than that, it's, it's fine.
There's guys out there wearing their ass hair on their head.
That's true.
We're honoring those guys.
So
Brian Urlacher gets paid for that.
So
gets paid for that.
What we have to expect is that when the Cubs do something in the future, 15, 20 years down the road,
Yeah.
Addison Russell is going to be right out there accepting his honor as a 2016 World Series champion.
Absolutely, he will.
Chicago Cub.
So
We're just going to forget about whatever they've done and throw them right back out there.
So I'm with you on the Bobby Hull thing, right? I'm like, I don't like that they're honoring Bobby Hull. I just don't think it's only the fact that he was like a domestic abuser. He's also said shit like Hitler had good ideas. He just took it a bit too far.
He just took it a bit too far.
He's an all-around bad guy. His son doesn't like him.
Right.
That's true.
I mean, and his daughter fucking definitely doesn't like him. His daughter's like a lawyer who represents people in domestic abuse cases.
She made it her life's work.
Yes.
To defend people like her mom.
Yes, because the dad was such a fucking asshole. And so it's weird to me that they're like, let's just keep bringing this guy to the forefront. There's no other players we could possibly bring in.
Right. Yeah, no, impossible.
No Jeremy Roenick's.
Yeah, I mean, even Jeremy Roenick's a drunk maniac, but he's a much better person.
Did he beat anybody? Did he beat his wife?
I mean, he's just
not that I know of.
Yeah. Crazy guy. It fucking amazes me that, especially not that just like the Blackhawks are like, oh, we're gonna do this. Is that the National Hockey League is like, yep, this sounds like a good idea. We're on board with this. Definitely bring this guy to the thing that we're trying to expand our game with. Because they're doing the Winter Classic. The Winter Classic is supposed to expand the game.
It's supposed to bring more people in.
For sure.
A lot of people watch it.
It's supposed to be an event.
Non huge fans. The casual fan is going to tune into that.
Right.
Like they would expect for the playoffs, right? So you're trying to do that, and then you go by the way, here's this guy that beat the shit out of his family. Don't you just love him?
And you guys brought up some other people that fall into the whole kind of thing that are celebrated.
Yeah,
right? And how did we want to swing?
It's kind of fucked up that there's still guys like this, and people we talked about one with Jim Brown.
Jim Brown's a prime example of a guy who Jim Brown's got a bit of a checkered past, but yeah, he was a violent dude. He got into trouble for certain things. Now, Jim Brown does have some interesting sort of upside to his personality too, but you can't just slide those bad domestic abuse things into the corner and not bring those fucking things up. Those are part of his past
right,
too.
Jim Brown's the guy that was he beat up his wife, and then the judge said you have two choices.
Was it girlfriend or wife?
I don't know if it was either one. It doesn't fucking matter.
Fuck buddy.
He beat up a woman.
Yeah.
And
threatened to throw her off a balcony.
The judge told him you can go through counseling or you can go to prison.
Yes.
Obviously assuming that this person would go to counseling, and Jim Brown chose prison, which is it's fucking unbelievable. I mean, it's not he didn't go to the lengths of OJ to actually kill somebody,
murderer,
but he did this. The other guy that I always think of when this kind of stuff comes up, that people are okay with him being around and they embrace him is Mike Tyson.
Yes.
Like,
Yes, that's a really good example.
Mike Tyson is a convicted rapist.
Yes.
Not like he was he's not in the Kobe Bryant camp of he was accused and we're not really sure what happened.
Yeah.
Right.
This shit went to a very graphic trial, and there was like blood and other awful shit that you don't even want to think about brought as evidence against this motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he obviously raped a woman and went to prison for raping a woman. And now it's like he was in The Hangover, so he's pretty cool.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well,
There's sportsmen reach a certain level in which we're willing to forgive these unforgivable sins. You would never forgive this shit if it was a guy you went and hung out at the bar with.
Would you
Everyone
hire,
would shun that person if they did this shit.
would you hire a guy that did any of this shit?
No, absolutely not.
Like-
Like that's not famous.
Like you're looking for a position at your job, and this guy comes in, and you read his resume, and on his resume is rape and beating women.
no.
You bringing that guy in?
No.
You bringing that guy in for the second interview?
Nope.
No.
Now, in general, I'm not an HR person, but in general, Headhunter would not advise you to put rape and beating up a person on the resume at the end. You usually want to hide those things
Yeah,
you're not as effective at,
I had
right?
a couple issues.
You want to go with your strengths. Truth be told,
It is
maybe
weakness.
rape was a strength. I don't
Well,
know. I
no,
know. It's hard to tell.
Maybe that's what they bring up under the weaknesses. Like when
Oh,
they're
the
like,
weaknesses,
when
yeah.
Or like when
I
most
rape
people would go like,
That's
"Well,
true.
I'm a bit of a perfectionist." They're
Yeah.
like, "I'm a bit of a rapist."
Yeah, no, that's a tough hire right there. I
Then
totally
you
agree
don't
with
you
that.
don't hire that guy. You probably don't.
In general, you don't. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on who
depending
else. Depends on who else is in the
depending on the
pool.
job too.
That's true. Yeah,
Getting back to your Tyson thing, as OJ proved, if you have enough money, you can usually get away with anything.
Yeah,
and Tyson had a lot of money then.
But he did not. He did not get away with it.
He did not get away with it.
he was
So
convicted.
There
But
was
there's also
something
a line
concrete
because
against it.
OJ's hated now
Yes.
by basically everyone. Everyone's like, "Fuck OJ" at this point.
So Tyson did his time, and now he's okay.
Well, and he didn't go far enough for you to like. It was heinous, but it wasn't double homicide heinous.
Yeah.
you know. So it was a little short of that. So everyone forgave him. Everyone forgot about it.
Now, do you think that Tyson is forgiven too because he had wasn't one of his daughters? Didn't she die because she got hung by like an electrical cord on a
There's something weird
treadmill?
with it. Yeah, like an
There was-
elliptical
there was-
machine or
like,
something
he
like
had
that.
Some issues.
It definitely was
And he's
some weird
paid.
shit.
Yeah,
But like that
He
doesn't
still raped
excuse
somebody.
any of it. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like
right.
it's just weird that like you can take some of these things with a grain of salt. Like you could go like, hey, Mike Tyson did this heinous shit, you know, and then he came back and showed that he was a normal human by biting off Evander Holyfield's ear. But I mean,
That was a tactic. I think that was the last thing Cus D'Amato taught him before he passed away. He just waited to use it until Evander Holyfield, because Holyfield's ears were a little bigger than the average fighter's
Right.
ears.
So he's like,
But
go
some
nibble on that.
This was
shit.
time to do it. Right,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly.
but everyone's okay with that.
Everyone's fine with that.
With Mike Tyson.
He's a warrior. You know, he's a warrior.
Barry Bonds. How are we feeling about Barry Bonds?
Oh, if you do steroids, though, you're better off beating the fuck out of your wife than doing some
Or
steroids.
somebody that was brought up on Sunday. Michael Vick can kill all the dogs he wants, but Colin Kaepernick cannot take a fucking knee.
No, he
Right.
cannot.
I mean, like,
No,
it's-
absolutely
Can't
not.
take a knee.
There are lines drawn at certain things.
It's weird. It's the
Like,
weird
They're totally irrational, too.
delineations that we have here because, like, think about how much Sammy Sosa is just destroyed.
Hold on.
But-
Salmon Sosa.
Yes, Frankenberry is destroyed. Is
Our
absolutely
dicks.
destroyed by the media, and
Sweet
no
dicks.
one's going like Sammy Sosa should be in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely not. No one's fucking thinking that. Everyone hates Sammy Sosa. Fuck that guy.
There's
Everyone-
Cubs fans that think
piles
he
on
should be
top
there.
of it.
It's tribal too, though, because if you think about it, people who like a certain sport will say your sport has the people that do that, when all the sports have the people that do this shit. Like, but they'll point out the people in your sport that do it. You
Now
know?
looking
because
at
Bobby Hall wasn't doing any greenies.
looking at
Exactly.
like a Sammy Sosa, right, and his numbers,
Yeah.
right, in that time of baseball, you guys are proponents of the cheating
Performance-enhancing drugs.
performance-enhancing drugs. Would you say if he was a White Sox, would you say yes? We should try to get him into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
I think
I think Jim Thome should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, well, he's in the Hall of Fame.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
in.
he made it.
I think Sammy should be in the Hall of Fame right now. I think he's Hall of Fame. Of course.
I've told my Cub fan friends that have argued about that with me. I go, if he was a White Sox, I would definitely make the case.
He was a White Sox.
Yeah, wow.
Not for the good years.
He's not wearing it.
He had the JC back then.
Jerry Curl.
When he's looking like Deion Sanders.
Yeah, man.
He was rocking the Soul Glow when he was with us, but
He was
did
looking like
not,
Rick James.
Not have the Soul Glow, when he did well.
That's actually an entire another topic, though.
It
The
is.
whole performance-enhancing drugs and what should or shouldn't be considered something.
It is, but I don't understand why people take such they're so offended by the performance-enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
But they're not that offended by actually physically hurting other people.
Right.
Like you look
Or
at
animals.
you look at
animals.
You look at guys that have done like these really fucking heinous acts, and that can be forgiven, but steroid use just fucking cannot. like A-Rod is an unforgivable human being because he didn't even get caught, but they said he did steroids, right?
He's somewhat forgiven.
He obviously did it.
Yeah.
But people still are against him going into like a Hall of Fame. But someone who murders someone like a Ty Cobb is in the Hall of Fame, and no one has a problem with it. It's a weird like thing of like, well, I'm not really concerned about what he does there.
That's how things were back in the day, Chirizi.
The thing is, though, you guys bring up Michael Vick. That's not a good example, in my opinion, though.
No.
Michael Vick got a fortune taken away from him and was suspended forever and ruined his fucking career. He did get real penalties. There's guys like Joe Mixon. I don't know if you've ever seen the Joe Mixon video.
Yeah.
It's fucking disturbing.
No.
He got nothing. He just strolled right into the NFL, played no problem.
Wasn't the Vic thing though? Is that because they were running a gambling ring and it was a tax evasion type thing and there was income coming in? That was what.
Regardless,
it's Al Capone getting stuck on a tax evasion, right?
Yeah, that may be true, but regardless,
also Al Capone created the born-on date basically for milk, like expiration dates for all the immigrant kids. He did really good in that regard, but then murdered several thousand.
That's a whole other. That's a podcast.
Hey, Bobby Hull. Let's not get into it. Al Capone had some really good ideas too.
I'm just saying that doesn't forgive that.
That's a good point, and it's
it.
true. Guys like that do, because they're businessmen. They have to do some of these things that end up being like positive things, even though they're out there murdering and killing everybody.
Yes.
But that's different than these professional athletes or even non-professional athletes getting away with crazy shit. I just don't think Michael Vick's a great example because he did get penalized.
Yes.
He did get everything basically taken from him.
He paid his dues.
He came back in the NFL and it was over. It was like...
But he made a shitload of money when he came back. Remember,
that's true.
Remember, he did get that extra contract out of that.
I see Vic jerseys all the times at the thrift stores, and I never.
No Ron Mexico, though.
Ron Mexico.
I would love a Ron Mexico jersey. That would be the shit.
All right, well, we're going to get off our
There you go. Happy New Year, motherfuckers.
That's
Enjoy
right.
the rest of our New Year's Day before we all go back to work tomorrow.
Joy.
Not me.
Cheers.
Have a good night, guys.
Deuces. Yeah, tomorrow's